All right, bringing in the big guns here. Danny Kelly, Ben Solak, Steven Ruiz, first appearance on the BS podcast. We're going to try to figure out the best offense in the NFL through the proxy of highest scoring team. I'm looking at the KC Chargers combo, Solak. I think it's one of those two. That division's going to be super fun. I think we're going to have, what was that game we had that one year with the Chiefs Rams where it was like 50, what was that? Like 50,
51 to 48,
51, 48, whatever.
Something like that.
I do feel like that division is capable of one of those, but I have those two targeted. Right now, we said before that was KC 10-1, Chargers 10-1. To me, those are the two favorites. What do you think of that take?
Yeah, see, I like the Bills. Like if you made me just pick one team against the field, I'm probably taking the Bills, and they're favored for this at price where it's like 6.5 to 1 for the Bills and 10-1 for the Chiefs Chargers. I'd rather just take the longer odds because this is such a kind of like arbitrary throw a dart bet, right? I don't have enough confidence in that. The thing with the Bills is like, I don't like putting Allen in scramble mode. I don't care. Like if he turns it over, great. Like the Bills are just going to get the ball back and then they're going to throw it down the field more. You know what I'm saying? Like yards per attempt. Like they still outscored the Colts last year. Like it doesn't matter. Like they're just going to be aggressive. They're going to put points on the board. Allen is going to be a flamethrower. Yeah, they're going to have 6-point games against the Jags, but this isn't like, you're disqualified if you score single digits. Like I just want that flamethrower aspect to it. And that's why the other two teams that to me make sense are Mahomes and Herbert. Because if there are other guys in the league who can do what Allen does in terms of just deciding to take over a game and put up 35 points, it's Mahomes. And it's Herbert who has the capability to do it. Herbert still, I think, has yet to be like fully unlocked into like, I am the flamethrower god, I am the man mode. Whereas Mahomes actually has that to him and has proven it over time. So if I'm picking between Chiefs Chargers at even price, I'm probably taking the Chiefs just because I have a little bit more faith in Mahomes just deciding over the course of a season to just take over games. Whereas Herbert is still trying to be this like perfect pocket quarterback and Lombardi's still trying to run this like perfect West Coast offense. I don't think they've fully matured into that. We're a 35-point team sort of philosophy. So if I'm picking between the two, I like the Chargers. Or excuse me, I like the Chiefs. But yeah, like when we're looking at prices here, I'm not nearly confident off the Bills to go like, yeah, give me 650 over 10-1. I'd rather take one of the two lower dogs.
So you like Herbert, the 40th best player in the league, according to whatever that weird NFL ranking thing was?
Listen.
Number 40, Justin Herbert. Number 10 in anyone else's list except for that one?
I cannot even begin to describe to you the way the NFL Top 100 list makes me feel in my heart. It just breaks me to my soul, man. It's so bad.
I saw it. I was watching the preseason game and they were running it on the ticker on the bottom. I hadn't seen it because I think all those lists are always terrible. And they're running it. I'm like, oh, whoa. It was just like every time they ran the next 10, I was always startled by, I mean, I love Mac, but putting Mac in the top 100 at this point is kind of insane. And then Herbert at 40, that also seemed insane to me. Danny, Chargers or Chiefs? What do you got?
Oh, man, this is tough.
Just best points. I'm not asking you best team, just most points this season.
I'm going Chargers because of the whole package. So last year they were second in points per drive, fifth in points per game, like one of the fastest team, top 6 fastest situation neutral offense, 7th in plays. So they're high volume plays. They play fast. They have Justin Herbert at quarterback. They have good players, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler. They upgraded the offensive line this offseason. They're playing, like you said, they're playing in that gauntlet of a division where there's going to be potentially a lot of back and forth shootout type games.
Couple gimme first 5 games, right? Cleveland with no Deshaun, Houston week 4, Jacksonville week 3.
And I think to me the edge really is what the Chiefs have on offense in terms of like their skill players right now. Like Kelsey, I definitely still believe in, and obviously Mahomes is Mahomes. But I just, what are we gonna like? Is MVS, Juju, the running back situation there isn't as great? Are they going to try and be like more of a run heavy team now because they don't have Tyreek? Like those to me are just like the slightest edge goes to the Chargers for me for that.
What do you got, Ruiz?
Yeah, I would go with the Chargers. And one big factor I would add is the stadium, playing indoors. I think that matters when you're talking about Kansas City and Buffalo as the main challengers. And I went to Chargers camp and people there were just raving about Herbert. They said he was even better than last year. And I don't know how you get much better than he was last year. And then I saw the scrimmage happen and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, he's better. He's better.
Did you just do the Kevin Clark, I just went to training camp move?
Bill,
AKA the KC?
First thing that came to my mind. I was like,
That's
oh
right.
no.
That's
Why
right.
didn't you mix in? And I talked
Kevin.
to one of the coordinators there and he told me ...
I talked to
one
Brandon
of the
Staley, and
coaches.
he told me they were going to score 40 a game.
The coach came right up to me. He listens to the F1 show. He loves the F1 show. It's incredible.
I have KC.
Miami is back.
I have KC over. I have KC over the Chargers, and here's why. And this ties into a general theme for me in this offseason. I'm all in on the Chiefs because they have the best offensive line in the league now, and we rightly brought up some of their. You disagree?
The Eagle fan in me just jumped at that one.
Okay,
no,
fine.
sir, they do not. Go Birds. But yeah,
Fine.
Chiefs are up there.
Fine. I have the Chiefs one. Mahomes and time makes me a lot less worried about, I wonder, is Sky Moore going to be able to do, and all the little questions. Who is scarier in the league in the last 10 years than Mahomes with like 5 seconds? He's always going to find somebody, and you give him 5 seconds, he'll create 8. And I just think he's due for one of those, everybody was blowing Joe Burrow in the offseason, and Justin Herbert's the guy, and we've had all this Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and then he had such an embarrassing playoff game that has to be part of this too, that he spends the whole offseason thinking about, I can't believe we're going to be up, 18 points heading into halftime, and we completely effed that up, and now all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, blah, blah, blah. I feel like this is going to be like his Clint Eastwood Unforgiven walking into the bar year. And the fact that they can actually block for him this year, I think that matters more than any other subpar. Ruiz, it seems like you agree.
Yeah, I think it's going to be easier for them to get explosive plays too. It's kind of, now that Tyreek's gone, like defenses aren't going to be selling out, and we've already seen in preseason they're kind of going back to that old Andy offense, like 2 running backs, multiple tight ends. And when you play those formations, the defense has no choice but to put a safety in the box. And if they're getting one high again, I don't care if it's not Tyreek Hill. Like Sky Moore is gonna eat. Hardman's gonna eat. Kelsey's still good.
Marquez.
I mean,
probably
Mahomes
some random guy we don't even know who the guy is.
Jody Watson.
Yeah,
Danny.
Mahomes. Yeah, I agree. There's like this weird thing this offseason where Mahomes is kind of underrated, and if you're like, Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL, like. Some people will debate that, but he's the most talented quarterback in the NFL, and he has the best offensive mind.
Well, I remember Solak and I talked about that after the Tyreek trade, about basically shifting the spending, right?
Yeah.
And instead of having all their spending on the QB and the receiver, and then you just keep your fingers crossed that your line can block, they kind of went the other way. And now they have an offensive line. Kelsey, who probably has 1 or 2 elite years left, depending on how you feel about tight end histories. And Mahomes. And I like this strategy more. I think it's a lot easier. There's so many receivers now, like the freaking Rams. Who that undrafted guy? These guys,
McClutchin.
These guys fall out of the woodwork. And it's like, all right, I guess this guy. Or the Dallas punt returner. It just seems like over and over again, you can get at least a little lucky with that position. And I get it. Like, to spend $25 million a year on Tyreek, how are you going to be able to address all this other stuff? So, Casey, I think that's probably the safest bet for me. Also, their schedule, it's fine. The AFC West is going to be tough, obviously, but I'm not too intimidated by that. I love that they get Arizona early. That I think would be my pick. So let's all make picks. Let's go around. I like Tennessee at 10-1, Kansas City at 10-1, and Minnesota at 22-1, like a sprinkling. I think would be my 2. What do you have, Solak? Who are you taking?
Yeah, I like Chiefs 10-1, and then I would probably also still take the Bills at plus 650, which I know is chalk. But also in a bet like this, there's no such thing as chalk. I just think the Bills are going to be very good.
I mean, if you do that, you put 100 on each, you're basically putting 200 on plus 650 or 10-1. So I get it. Yeah. What do you got, Danny?
I'm going to stick with the Chargers, just barely 10-1, and then I want to throw out, even though Solak kind of crushed my dreams on this with the repeat thing, but like the Cowboys at 13-1. I still think they're just going to run a lot of plays, and Dak is still good, and they have a lot of talent with CD, Pollard, Zeke. I know that everyone's down on Zeke, but he's still good. I don't know. And then the defense.
Ruiz?
I'll go with the Bucks at plus 950. And I'm going to throw out a team that we haven't mentioned. I'm going to say the Packers. I think that defense is going to be really good, and they might be the turnover team this year that gets that variance. And then Aaron Rodgers. It's Aaron Rodgers. So